It has been a really amazing journey to where I am now. Obviously, you start off at a school that you knew had potential to become what it is today in Sacred Heart, and then from there you just kind of jettison in your own directions. Like, it took me to Fort Myers, to Milwaukee, to ESPN, to New York, back to Milwaukee, and now I'm back to Milwaukee as a sports director at the ABC affiliate there. But the career journey has just been amazing, and it really all started here at Sacred Heart. No routines in sports, which is what makes it so much fun. One day you're at Lambeau Field covering the Packers for 13 hours. Another day you're at a Milwaukee Admirals game, which is a AHL team in Milwaukee, kind of skating around a little bit. And that's really the fun of it. I mean, you're never doing the same thing from high school to professional to college. For me, in a managerial position, it's a little bit more dictating than I've ever done before. But that's what you kind of love about it, that sports is always changing. There's not scripts to sports. So there's a beginning, a middle, and the end. It's just, what's the beginning, what's the middle, what's the end? And that's what you gotta love about it. I mean, it's always something new. It's the only live drama we have in the world. Don't worry about this fake real TV stuff, these housewives in New Jersey. If you want some real drama, just watch a sports game. When I won my first Emmy, about 2-3 years ago, it was my first year at Valley Sports Wisconsin, which at the time was Fox Sports. And we do pre and post game shows, and our pre-game show got nominated for an Emmy. We put a lot of hard work into it. There's a lot of people that are there, and it won an Emmy, which I was really excited about. I mean, I had never done that before. Getting that golden lady, holding her for the first time, was really cool. So yeah, I think that's probably my biggest milestone so far professionally, is winning an Emmy for my work on TV. Never say no. Never say no, because as soon as you say no, someone behind you is going to say yes. It is a very humbling experience. When I was here, we didn't have YouTube and Vimeo and LinkedIn and all that stuff. So I spent hours, weeks, making reels onto tapes, putting them onto DVDs, mailing them out to literally 300 stations across the country. 4 got back to me. 2 said thanks but no thanks. 2 said, well, we like your stuff, but you don't know what you're doing yet, so we'll hire you as a producer. And instead of saying no to that and trying to hope and pray that I'd get an on-air gig, I just said yes to the producer job. And a year later, they gave me a chance. So the biggest thing I would say is just be persistent. You're gonna hear a lot of no's. You can hear 17, 20, 30, 40, 50 no's. You just have to hear one yes. And as soon as you hear that yes, don't let the opportunity slip away. The first time I got hit by John Cordo on a dig route in practice. So John Cordo was probably an All-American linebacker for Sacred Heart, went to play for the Buffalo Bills. And it was my freshman year. I was running a crossing route. He clocked me, and at that moment, I knew football was not in my future anymore. So I immediately realized that I'm not going to the NFL, I'm not playing in Europe, I'm not playing indoor. I'm going to start focusing on other things, other pursuits after college. And the easiest one for me is, well, if I can't play football anymore, then maybe I could talk about football. So we didn't have the facilities that Sacred Heart has now. I mean, I'd put it up there with Syracuse and Arizona State and Northwestern. You're going to find very few facilities that are as good as Sacred Heart's. But we always had the professors that cared. So I started reaching out to Golda and Castingway and Miller and Thorne and Danowski at the time and K-Back, and they did everything possible that they could with the resources they had to help me fulfill my dream. And yeah, I'll always be thankful to them for that. I feel a lot of pride walking back on campus. I mean, as I mentioned before, and you can talk to anybody pre the SCM programming, we just didn't have the resources. We had a chapel that we'd move the desks out of and put up a digitally created desk and do our sports from there. Or we'd have to make sets out of paper mache and cardboard. It was actually hilarious thinking back on it. But seeing what Sacred Heart has turned into, the powerhouse that it's turned into in the educational communications world that we live in, because not only do you have the professors, which you've always had, but now they have the resources to help groom the next generation of TV journalists, of print journalists, of radio journalists, and those behind the scenes making all the magic happen. Watch tape, watch film, watch yourself. It's the only way you're going to get better, because you might have an idea of what you're doing, but you'll pick up on little things that you missed, that you didn't see. I did it a lot in sports. I did in football. We always watched film on our opponent, but we also did self-scouting film. So be honest with yourself. Evaluate your performance. See what you're doing wrong. See what you're doing better. And just have fun. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because at the end of the day, this is sports. Sports are supposed to be fun. And that's the best advice you can give anybody, especially in this business. Don't take yourself too seriously. Just have fun. Hard work. It's always been the cornerstone of when I was here, the media studies program, and I think it's continued. What I learned here was to, one, never take yourself too seriously, but two, always put in the work, because what you put in, you'll get out of. And you don't always learn that in some places. Like the teachers, the professors here hold you accountable, but they also know who cares and who doesn't care. And if they know you care about this, they're going to hold your feet to the fire because they want you to be better. And in turn, that actually makes you want to kind of hold yourself accountable. So I think accountability, hard work, those are two things that I still carry with myself today. And I mean, that's the pioneer way, right?